When did you finally see through your family's golden child facade? My brother Aiden could do no wrong. Straight A's, varsity soccer captain, full ride to an elite university. Every family gathering was a celebration of his latest achievement. Meanwhile, I was the creative one who waitressed while pursuing photography, clearly wasting my potential. For years, I believed the narrative. Aiden was brilliant, driven, destined for greatness. I was the disappointment who should be more like him. When he graduated summa cum laude and landed a job at a prestigious consulting firm, our parents threw a party that cost more than my annual rent. "Why can't you be more like your brother?" became their favorite refrain. When I mentioned struggling with rent, they'd say, "Aiden never asks for help." When I showed them my photography exhibition, they'd say, "Aiden just got promoted again." The cracks started showing at Thanksgiving 3 years ago. Aiden seemed off, jumpy, constantly checking his phone, excusing himself every few minutes. When Mom asked about work, he gave vague answers about restructuring and new directions. Dad didn't notice. He was too busy telling everyone how Aiden was probably getting another promotion. 2 months later, Aiden called me at 2 a.m. Not our parents, me. He was sobbing so hard I could barely understand him. He'd been fired 6 months earlier for falsifying client reports. He'd been pretending to go to work every day, sitting in coffee shops in his suit, sending our parents fake updates about fictional projects. "I can't tell them," he gasped. "You don't understand the pressure. Every time I achieved something, they expected more." When I got into Yale, suddenly Yale wasn't enough. I needed to graduate top of my class. When I did that, it wasn't enough. I needed the perfect job. When I got that, I needed to make partner by 30. He'd been taking Adderall since sophomore year, then cocaine to maintain his excellence. The falsified reports were to cover for mistakes he made while high. He'd burned through his savings maintaining the illusion, even renting a fake office to take video calls from. "Why didn't you just tell them?" I asked. "Tell them what? That their perfect son is a drug addict who got fired for fraud? While you're out there pursuing your dreams, being authentic, they'd die." That's when it clicked. I wasn't the failure. I was the one who'd refused to play the game. I waited tables because I wanted flexible hours for photography. I lived in a studio apartment because I valued freedom over status. I'd been apologizing for choices that were actually brave. Aiden begged me not to tell our parents, but a week later, he was arrested for writing bad checks. The golden child's fall from grace was spectacular and public. Our parents were devastated, not just by what he'd done, but by the realization that they'd created this pressure cooker. At the intervention, our family therapist asked our parents why they'd held Aiden to such impossible standards. Mom broke down crying. "We wanted him to have everything we didn't. We thought pushing him meant we loved him more." "What about Sophia?" the therapist asked. Dad looked at me like he was seeing me for the first time. "We thought she didn't need us. She was always so independent, so sure of herself." Independent, sure of myself. They'd mistaken my survival mechanism for strength. I'd learned early that I'd never meet their standards, so I'd stop trying. It saved me from Aiden's fate, but it also meant growing up feeling unseen. Aiden's in recovery now. Real recovery, not performance. He works at a nonprofit, makes a third of his old salary, and seems genuinely happy for the first time since high school. Our parents struggle with it. They catch themselves bragging about his old accomplishments, then go quiet when they remember. Last month, they came to my photography exhibition. Dad stood in front of my series on addiction and identity for 20 minutes. Mom bought 3 prints. They tried to introduce me to their friends as our daughter the artist, with the same pride they used to reserve for Aiden's achievements. It felt hollow. Where was this recognition when I needed it? When I was 18 and scared but determined? When I was 25 and succeeding but invisible? The golden child wasn't golden at all. He was just copper painted over and over until the weight of the paint made him collapse. And the disappointment? She was just herself. Tarnished maybe, but real. Sometimes the biggest family revelation isn't about who's succeeding. It's about what success costs and who's willing to pay the price.